I hope you're prepared.
Prepared.
God damn it, Juan, are we recording yet?
Oh, hell yeah, we are.
Then tell me what the fuck is in this shot. The following is all true. However, the person you are about to see describing all of this is extremely fucked up. Try to get every last drop. Well, you know, muzzles. I guess with my really broken down script, I begin with the Radiants. Some bugs have more power than others. There is no real explanation as to why, but some bugs come with certain power. These bugs are generally known as higher beings. The Radiance was worshipped by the moth cult that she founded. Essentially, the Radiance was a moth who offered power to those who followed her in exchange for a cost. You basically had to give in to her hive mind of sorts. Juan, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to take me a shot.
Me take a shot?
Yeah.
Of what?
Anything. Then there was the Pale King's arrival. The Pale King was a pretty cool dude. The Pale King arrived in Hollow Nest, and he did something priorly unheard of. He united them bugs. He granted them power. He gave them freedom, not a hive mind where they had to give up their free will. And the Moth Tribe that worshipped the Radiance recognized that the Pale King was offering power and freedom, and they were like, hey, yo, we want some of that. So they sort of turned their back on the Radiance, who was a fellow moth. The Radiance was a little tilted at the moths for being like, hey, yo, you worshipped me. What we had was good. And the Radiance essentially started infecting different members of Hollow Nest. She started infecting their dreams at first. And so, slowly, the citizens and denizens began giving in, which the Pale King recognized. He was like, oh shit, what's this orange shit happening? He was willing to go to drastic measures. This is where something called the Void comes in. The Void is technically a higher being. The effects of Void energy, though, also come at a cost. The way that the Radiance demands your free will and thought, Void demands emotion. So, Juan, you haven't taken that shot for me yet. Don't think I'm not watching you. In order to combat the Radiance, the king enacted a plan. The plan was to bone his wife, the White Lady, another higher being, as many times as fucking possible. Yeah, that's right. Laugh, you bitch. He wanted to make as many children, as many eggs, as many vessels as possible. Basically, every child that was born for a long while was handed over to the king's scientists. Basically, what needed to happen to defeat the Radiance was a perfect mix between soul and void, and then sealing the Radiance itself inside that vessel to stop from spreading. This is what led to the Hollow Knight being created. Ow, don't claw me, you cat. I am petting you. Do not spite me. I will smite thee. The king chose what he thought to be a pure vessel, which later became known as the Hollow Knight. However, this was not actually a perfect vessel. During the grooming process, the king instilled within the Hollow Knight a desire of fatherly love. It's literally illustrated by a mere glance between the two. When the Hollow Knight reached peak physical form, the king finally enacted his terrible plan. They took him to a temple, bound him, and then they seal the Radiance within the Hollow Knight's mind. The Dreamers are three guardians for the Hollow Knight sealing that went into a pseudo-slumber. The Dreamer in Deep Nest required an agreement. This agreement required that the Pale King have a child with the Queen of Deep Nest. This child is Hornet. However, due to the imperfection within the Hollow Knight, the infection once again begins to spread after an indeterminate amount of time. Undetermined? Indeterminate? I think it's indeterminate. After an indeterminate amount of time. This is where you enter the Hollow Nest. You are not, this is in all caps, and this is backwards for the camera because fuck you, Juan, you're editing, not the Hollow Knight. You're a husk that wields a nail as a weapon. So there are also spells that you can get, which use a system called Soul, which is essentially this universe's version of life energy. Your job with the plot is to uncover how the fuck to solve the problem. There are 3 endings. There is the boring ending, the juicy ending, and the radiant ending. The boring ending. The boring ending is a boss rush. You get the Dream Nail, kill the Dreamers, fight the Hollow Knight, you kill the Hollow Knight, and you take his place. Then there's the juicy ending. You have to talk to Hornet a couple more times and acquire a couple other artifacts. Then, midway through the Hollow Knight fight, Hornet will come in, and then if you continue fighting him as normal and defeat him, you both get sealed away in the temple. Then there's the Radiant ending. You have to basically uncover 80 to 90% of why everything has happened in Hollow Nest. You have to fully awaken the Dream Nail. You also have to acquire something known as the Void Heart, which is the King's brand, but amplified by the Void. So then, during the boss fight with the Hollow Knight, when Hornet intervenes and her needle hits the Hollow Knight in his face, you Dream Nail the Hollow Knight himself. So you enter the Hollow Knight's mind, where you get to face the Radiance. Once you defeat the Radiance, all the denizens and citizens of Hollow Knight are freed from her infection. You don't have to be sealed away into the temple. Everyone should be Gucci, and that's basically where the game ends. Other than the fact that you see yourself slowly descend back into the void, where it seems as though your soul is owed. Here is my shameless, my actually proud plug of Mossbag. Even though he will probably never, ever in his life see this drunken video,